And how is it going, everyone? Welcome to Gran Turismo 4. And today, we have to continue the Formula World Championship. But my question is if 2 or 3 races are gonna fit today. Last time 3 fit, but I had to do a 4-hour stream. I don't know, but I do know what race 4 is, because in the VOD I actually check a little bit of what the fourth icon is, and it's High Speed Ring, one of the first tracks in the series, pretty much. 77 laps in this seems also a little bit too much, but not like there's much I can do about it, so... Yeah, remember that it's pretty loud on the engines. Yeah, it's fine. The only problem is that we're just missing out on music, but... What can you... Well, I don't know if you can decrease the volume of the sound effects. I will assume you can, but you will be surprised by the amount of games where you are not allowed to do that. I don't think this is one of them, though. Damn, I already overtook them on the first corner, come on. At least try to put some resistance, god damn it. You know what, this is called a high-speed ring precisely because it's supposed to be a high-speed track. But these guys are not going very high speed. The good thing is that it seems that every lap is gonna be exactly 1 minute long. Which will mean that 77 laps is... Well, it's not very ideal. It's almost an hour and 20 minutes. It's not that bad though. It's just that I really don't think that the situation where you have only... where you have 3 races in a single stream is gonna repeat. Because the reason for that was the Motegi Oval. Motegi had exactly, well, or almost exactly an hour of total race time. And that allowed me to put 2 other races in the same stream, but if this one gets closer to an hour and a half, that is not gonna be possible. I've also been thinking, you know, about like to make these races a little bit more interesting to completely remove the driving aids, but the fact remains that the opponents that I race against wait a little bit longer to pit. So I do need some advantage against them. Though I don't know if it's a good idea. Not to mention that already the Minolta at this speeds without driving aids was very hard to control. This thing is most likely gonna be impossible to control without them. And keep in mind that this is supposed to be a Formula car from 2004. At least it's supposed to emulate that. And I'm pretty sure that those cars by then already have a lot of modern technologies that essentially assist your driving. I mean, nowadays it's obvious that they have more electronics than full mechanical stuff. That's pretty clear. But yeah, I'm pretty sure 2004 was also the case. So the pit entrance is supposed to be before the final corner. Well, you could also just go through the safety cones. It's not like you're gonna get a penalty or anything like that. I'll rather do it in an order way. Oh, my bad. I'm also still waiting to see a track that, you know, has a lot of grass or sand to the side, because so far we had Tokyo, Oval Motegi, and New York. All of those were tracks that didn't even have grass in the first place. This one has, but it's so minimal that it's, I don't think, even worth considering. So I'm still waiting for a track like that. Oh shit. That drift was dangerous. Waiting for something like that, but I don't know. Well, another thing that it's also true is that I was completely wrong when it comes to that, like, you know, all of the tracks were gonna be real tracks. Like, clearly not when this one is here. Okay, well, there's gonna be a mixture. We're gonna have some real tracks, some fictional tracks. I do wonder what the selection is mostly gonna be based on, right? So far, there doesn't seem to be any relation between the tracks. Like, the first three were all real tracks, but with this one, that stopped being a relation, so I do wonder how's it gonna be. So we have lucky sevens in the lap count. 3 sevens. Should play a slot machine in the casino to celebrate. Just kidding. Don't waste your money in a casino. So here, my pit stop will be in lap 10, right? Yeah, I could wait until lap 10. I could also do it in lap 11 and make one less pit stop, but not so sure about that. I don't think it's gonna be worth it. Might as well do it in lap 10. That will mean 7 pit stops. And these guys, I don't know when they are gonna pit stop, considering that, well, as I already say, this is supposed to be a high-speed track, and the fuel, because of that, gets consumed very quickly here, you know? Now I'm starting to have my doubt if I can actually hold until lap 10. It looks like I will have to lap earlier. My rear left tire is already trying to give up. I could probably push for one more lap though. Just that at that point kinda enters into dangerous territory. But since it's the only one that's in that state, I don't think I should worry too much. Or maybe I should. Nah, it's fine. Let's do it every 10 laps. Though that one tire is gonna go into tomato red at any point now. And especially I think the hardest corner will be this one. I reduced the speed a lot just in case. With that we should pit in. I don't know when these guys are gonna pit in, but it's not like it matters with this already insane difference I have. Alright, so the pit entrance is before this corner. To start braking a little bit. Yeah. I wonder what happens if you try entering the pits from the cones. Are you even allowed to? I will assume you are allowed to. I mean, if that's the case, there is no reason to to enter the pits the intended way. I will simply because there is no way I can lose anyways. Oh damn, this is an extremely long pit stop. Like very, very long. Not to mention the fuel I have to replenish as well. Seems that so far no one is pit stopping. I'm actually gonna get released on the same spot as the other guys, pretty much. This could be an interesting race depending on when these guys pit in. I very heavily doubt that these guys are gonna wait until lap 20 to pit. But if they did it could be very interesting. Would be pretty cool. Because at that point, it's kinda up to you to be able to maintain the lead. Instead of just easily doing it without worrying. But I don't think the fuel is gonna let them. Like, I cannot imagine their fuel consumption being lower than mine. Or at least not by a lot, you know? I think it's mostly the fact that the pit stop is exceedingly long. In every other track so far, the pit stop has been very reasonable. Well, reasonable, very short, rather. The Tokyo one is simply you go to the side in the main straight and that's it. Like, that's the shortest possible type of pit stop you have. Then the one in the oval, it was slightly... No, but it was the same. It was basically to the side in the main straight. It's just that you had to prepare a little bit earlier. I think these guys are pitting in now. Okay, so on lap 12 for them is gonna be the pit entrance. And I think that it's gonna be all of them without exception. In that regard, the change is not... it is gonna be pretty easy, as expected. Because at that point, they are gonna pit stop 5 times, right? That will be 65. Yeah, they will pit stop 5 times. So that will be 2 less pit stops than me. It's not gonna matter though. Also, how is it going, Kyle? I'm just here teaching these guys a lesson. Some driving lessons that they seem to very clearly need. Because they will keep getting humiliated by a single Formula car that doesn't even have a very pretty combinations of colors like they do. And yet they are getting their ass absolutely kicked. Bam. Or teaching them some lessons. But I don't think they are learning. That's the problem. They seem to... I mean, you can already tell that I'm lapping them. We are only in lap 15. Cleaning product for kitchen color combination. Yeah, pretty much. Personally, when I look at this combination of colors, I always think at a football club in my country that is basically known for, well, being mediocre. It's a football club that was always like in the second division, I think. I don't know where they are right now, but they basically never got anything worthwhile. Well, they also have a pretty cheesy name. Basically, the translation in English will be Defense and Justice. That's the name of the club. So they couldn't get cheesier if they wanted to. They are not even that good. As I say, they are supposed to be mediocre. Like, essentially, they are the shover team, like many others. And that's funny, especially because you know that in many instances football has been rigged here. Well, here and in many places in the world, and it's still being rigged also in many places. I don't know if it's really rigged anymore, considering that the amount of people that give a shit is decreasing. Not by much though, it's still extremely popular, but the thing is that the term shover is even more fitting in something as rigged as football, you know? Pretty much like you're just watching wrestling but with a ball. So the shovers are still there. I don't think we have that brand here. But usually, a lot of these brands tend to be international, and they might have a different name depending on the country. So it's probably the same organization that has some brands here, I guess. Here we have some products from the brand Cif, that is spelled CIF. Which is a cleaning brand. It usually doesn't tend to have this color combination, but I think I do remember seeing some with that. I don't think it's a bad color combination, but honestly, this color combination will work better if yellow was a less dominant color. Like, it should be majority green with very small tints of yellow. The way it looks right now, I feel like it just looks overly goofy, you know? We have it here too. I guess some brands are really very, very international, right? White international. Net slap is fitting in. I think that I should have tried to remove the driving aids in this track, considering that it's such an easy track, you know. I think depending on what the next track is, I will disable them simply to see, because otherwise you can tell that the challenge is absolutely non-existent, you know. We already knew from the past stream, but yeah, I think that if the next track is easy, I'll just, you know, at least try to remove the driving aids to make it more interesting. The problem is that I don't want to make it more interesting and lose, right? Like, losing doesn't seem like an acceptable outcome. Though, what track would be easy for me to be like, yeah, I'm turning this off? I guess if we get Seoul, just like New York, or like most of the urban tracks, is gonna be pretty easy, most likely. I think that one will be the perfect choice. It's not the only one though. I think that if we get something like... what else could we even get? I'm not sure. As most of the other tracks, I think that they are tracks where I would rather not risk it, you know. Most of other tracks are something that I will prefer not taking any chances. Yeah, I feel like it's that one. And this one honestly would have been one too. I guess I didn't. Though I should clarify that when I say disable racing aids, I like the idea that Kyle told me at the moment, which is completely disabling the first two, but the third one leave it in one, like the traction control. The thing about the traction control is that right now the acceleration I'm doing it with a button, like an actual button and not a trigger, and because of that it seems like it could be a not so very good idea to, you know, attempt to completely remove them, because it means that every corner exit is gonna be a pain in the ass to do. Without a doubt. You can see here how often the racing aids are being activated. If you look at the bottom left, the exclamation mark icon, unless I'm going on a straight, it's constantly blinking, which means that they are basically getting into effect, you know. So we will see how it goes. I don't think I trust any other track to disable them. I think that it's either a Seoul or nothing. Because the other urban track that is Opera Paris, that one I don't trust it at all. That one is gonna be a disaster. Also, since this is supposed to be Formula 1, I will assume that one of the tracks is gonna be, you know, Monaco, the Côte d'Azur track. Like, it has to be. Arknights is doing a collab. Wait, that sounds very... That sounds familiar to me, that name. Isn't that like a singer or something? It's some Bang Dream World Band or something. I remember hearing about it. Though around here, when you mention the name Mujica, you tend to think of something else. A certain leader. But yeah, I guess it is just a band. It's something that I've seen that seems to be a trend right now, that a lot of games do collaboration with musical partners, even though they don't fit at all. It just seems to... seems to be a trend. And considering how much they are doing it, I'm assuming that it's working. But I don't know, I feel like every time when it comes to advertisement, I really don't know how like companies in general just keep doing advertisements. Like, it has never worked for me a single time. I have never purchased a product because of advertisement. I don't know what they are thinking. But I'm assuming that other people do, otherwise it will have stopped. They will have stopped doing it by now. You like that character archetype? You're supposed to be a fan of Rachel after all, from Blaze Blue, which is the primate sample. I think that actually here's the thing. Here is the deal. Unless the next track is Hong Kong or Opera Paris or Laguna Seca, let's include Laguna Seca in the mix too. Unless it's one of those three, I'm disabling driving aids. Like the first two completely and the last one, the traction control, and leaving it at 1. That's what I'm gonna do. Because I don't think it's very entertaining to me to see, you know, every time that I go to a checkpoint, see -2 laps, -1 lap, right? Like, that is not very interesting. So unless it's one of the 3 tracks that I mentioned, I'll disable it. I don't think there's any other track I mostly can struggle with. I think it's mostly those 3. It will be pretty interesting if Nürburgring Nordschleife shows up this early. Because that's also a track you probably will not want to disable driving aids. But yeah, no, I decided that on the next one I will, unless it's one of those 3 tracks. Just leave the traction control on 1 to make sure that you don't get absolutely fucked by the corner exit, but that's it. And depending on the result of that, I will even be tempted to completely disable traction control too. We will see how it goes. I don't like dominating like this. Like, it's a little bit too much. Like, I don't mind dominating, but it has to be by a smaller difference. This is just basically, you know, this is bullying more than anything. I'm just bullying like very bad drivers. It's okay. Trying to recall the tracks from this game to see which other one could be a problem. I don't think there are many, really. It's essentially those 3 and Nürburgring. Okay, I think that will be the plan. That will be the plan. It could be funny though if that ends up making me going faster instead of slower. Like, according to Kyle, disabling the first 2 driving aids makes you go faster, because those first 2 driving aids, what they essentially do is they automatically brake when they detect oversteering or understeering. That's what their purpose is. So by not having that, you're not gonna brake against your wheel. So you might brake your car against your wheel instead, but I think that traction control is more important. It makes me faster at least. Well, in my case, with other cars I will agree. With this one, I don't know. This is a very fast car. We're talking about a car that is not hard to control at all with driving aids. But the moment we remove them, I don't know. As I say, I'll keep the traction control in one and see how that goes. Because I mean, when it comes to getting a feel of the car, with this race, I already had 4 races to do it. I think 4 races is good enough to more or less know how this thing works. More or less. The issue is if I start struggling a lot. If I start struggling a lot, it's gonna be very hard to, you know, be able to win. Because I cannot let these guys overtake me. And if I start struggling in every corner, they will. My issue is mostly corners like the one that comes afterwards. This corner, you can take it fast, but if you take it fast, you drift. And the only thing preventing me from completely losing control here are the driving aids. But you can already tell in corners like this one, you see how the car is like doing left, stop, left, stop, left. That's because of the driving aids. Without them, instead of doing left stop, it's gonna do left, and it's not gonna stop, which means you're gonna spin, obviously. So I'm a little bit worried about that. Well, disabling the traction control permanently will make it do that. But even with the traction control in one, I cannot imagine it being much better at all. It's just that it's gonna be drivable, differently from being completely undrivable, right? I might be making a bad mistake. I might be. And my problem is if the difference is essentially a difference between lapping these guys by 2 laps or just straight up losing. I wouldn't like that being my only 2 options, you know. That's why I think that my plan should at least have something in the middle. Because I won't be able to go as fast as I'm going now. Because right now I'm basically going extremely careless. I'm barely even paying attention to the track at all. Like, I don't need to. It's completely unnecessary to pay attention to what I'm doing. But without the aids, I will need to. Let's see. If I was paying attention, that probably wouldn't have happened. What I tell you. Gotta pay a little bit of attention at least when you turn them off. You know, the ideal track to test this will be Fuji Speedway. If the next track is Fuji Speedway, especially the version with chicanes, it will be perfect because let's assume that this doesn't work. It's okay, we can just cut the chicanes. It's not ideal, but hey, it will work. These guys are pitting in here. I'll need to pit on the next one. Essentially what that means is that the difference will remain on 2 laps. I do regret not having done the disabling for this one, considering that this is such an easy track. Because maybe I wanted to see, hey, maybe this time it's gonna be different. Maybe the AI will try to fight back a little bit better. No, not sure why I thought that was gonna be the case, but I guess I did. It is basically a 3-lap advantage. Just like that. We're gonna lose it now, but it's not like we're gonna lose the lap advantage. I don't think so, at least. Because I don't think it takes a whole lap to pit stop, right? It takes a little bit less, though. It does take quite a lot. The time loss in this... Wait, did I do it 1 lap earlier? No, I didn't. Never mind. I did it at the right time. It feels like it is almost as if you... Well, you lose half a lap, I feel. Maybe a little bit more than half a lap when you pit. It's nothing out of the ordinary. I do hope that at least I don't know if I'll ever be able to do it, but the Gran Turismo 3 Formula Championship gives a better challenge. Though with the way the game works, which is basically having a lot of input delay for some reason, I think that alone will make it harder. You needing to slightly anticipate your movements, I think that's gonna be particularly easy. Well, that and the fact that the cars in the Formula cars in Gran Turismo 3 are also supposed to be different, which might make some of them better and some of them worse. Or maybe it's just like this game, it's a visual difference, and this game doesn't pretend. This game does make it simply a visual difference. Also, hey Sunshine, how is it going? Just going in circles. Not precisely a circle. It has a similar shape. Kinda. Had an energy drink for this one? No, I didn't. But I don't need that. I basically generate my own energy. I'm kinda like a plant that does photosynthesis. I get the energy I need on my own. Don't worry about it. It's I think that streams like this one are mostly relaxing for me. You know, I feel like it takes more energy to me to play Zelda, try to figure out what dumb shit the developers wanted me to think, and then proceed to get mad about it and waste time figuring it out. I think that to me requires like 10 times the energy that I'm spending on this. Like this thing I'm basically running in low consumption right now. Like right now, I would even say almost autopilot. So yeah. At least my call is almost gone. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's usually the case that it tends to be only 1 week. I can get into Zelda. Well, I initially was the same. I got into it, I guess, in the sense that I play them, but I still don't really prefer any of them. I still think that the Zelda games are not for me, but I'll keep playing them because I'm pretty sure at least one of them is gonna be for me. So until then, I'll keep playing them. Because I mean, in the meantime, it's not like the games themselves are terrible. They are at least entertaining somewhat, so in the meantime, I guess I'll just keep playing. You are playing in B-Spec? Well, yeah, pretty much. The only difference is that it takes more time than B-Spec, but I'm paying so little attention to the race right now that it could be B-Spec. Trackmania without Shams? Well, that's a game I couldn't get into. Trackmania is a game that, well, here's the thing. The only reason why it's relatively popular nowadays is because it's kinda free to play. It's a game that has such a fucking stupid handling, it's crazy. Like, the handling and the physics of that game make absolutely no sense. And that in itself wouldn't be a problem if the community maps didn't try to push the limit of the physics, but they do. They constantly try to push the limits. And that ends up being very hard to play for anyone that hasn't, you know, been playing for a long time. So Trackmania, even without champs, is very nonsensical. There is a mechanic in Trackmania that is called speed drift. Well, normally it will be called speed slide. The problem is that if speed slide will be abbreviated as SS, and since Trackmania is mostly played by Sherman players, I don't think they are allowed to use that abbreviation, you know? So instead they call it SD for speed drift, which essentially means that when you are going very fast, you can actually go faster by drifting in a very specific way while you're going at that speed. So essentially, even tracks that are supposedly just going forward or like barely doing anything, there is actual mechanics that are essentially bugs. They are not intended mechanics that you need to use in order to properly play the maps. And none of the tutorials will tell you that. But essentially, Trackmania is an absolutely shit experience for anyone that is a new player. Like, very, very shit experience. I still will shit on Mario Kart 7 for not having as much content as fucking CTR from the 90s. Well, but you can say that about a lot of Mario Kart games, you know? Like what, do you think that a game like Mario Kart DS has more content than CTR? I mean, I will even say that to some extent, as much as I like the game, I don't think Mario Kart Wii has as much content as CTR either. Maybe I'm wrong, but like, depends on what you mean by content, because in amount of tracks, Mario Kart 7 has more tracks than CTR. But obviously the lack of a single player mode means that as a single player experience, I guess it is less content. But again, that applies to every single Mario Kart game. I really don't like Nintendo. I don't really mind. I don't really have anything against any major producer or console in video games. I just play whatever I play, you know. Don't really have against anything. If you don't have a single track selector, you are delayed. Well, yeah, that does suck, but what I'm trying to say is that aside from that, every Mario Kart game essentially doesn't really have a single player mode. You just play against the AI in Gran Turismo, but that's it. Their games don't fall in price. Yeah, but that happens a lot with other high profile games from other companies. But yeah, in Nintendo it tends to always be the case. The only one I respect is Fatman Gaben. Yeah, he's talking about Gabe Newell. Well, look, you say that until Steam for whatever reason doesn't let you access the game you purchase. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, maybe it won't ever, but all I'm saying is that, you know, I think that it's only a matter of time for something like that to happen. Is the list evil? They already did, but it was a game I stole. Well, in my case, it's also not a big deal because if at some point Steam decides to, for some reason, not allow you to access games, you already know my origins. You already know how I started playing games. So, wouldn't really affect me that much. Steam would be perfect if they were DRM free. In that regard, the ones you will probably like to follow are shioshi.com. Though I heard that they also delisted some games for no reason at all. But yeah, it's just like anything involving big companies or big organizations, I guess. It's about picking the least evil one, you know. But I think that you don't really need to pick. You can play something in a platform, something else in another platform. And if we're talking about older platforms, you can simply emulate, like, you know, what I'm doing right now. Devotion, because China will block them if they didn't. Sorry, I meant China. Just that I can't, like, I see that and I immediately pronounce it in Spanish, but yeah. A lot of people, a lot of companies essentially bend the knee to the Chinese government. So yeah, what can you do? Like original hardware, the tiny buttons on the PSP are so clicky they make... I don't know, I never had a real PSP in my hands. The most I had is a PS Vita. And it was whatever. I think the PSP would have been a nice console to have as a kid. That's a lot of very good games. You got your PSP yesterday? Nice. It's always a nice console. Well, you could play the Ridge Racer PSPs in that console. Just if you want to beat them, prepare to play them for a long time. You got a Vita, yeah, but a very long time ago, like 10 years ago or something. I barely played anything. Like the only game I remember playing to completion was Ridge Racer, and that's the worst game in the series. Like Ridge Racer on the Vita is easily the worst game in the series. So, aside from that, no, I didn't have many. Oh, and also Hot Shot Golf. It's a golf game. It was cool. But aside from that, I cannot really mention many at all. Like, I don't think I played more than those two for a long time. That golf one I did play to completion as well. I got it to dump Ridge Racer 2, nice. The Ridge Racer 2 on PSP is nice. Wasn't a fan of the second half of the game, but it's still okay. Pizza now has a store app with all the games. What do you mean a store app? I mean, you mean the PlayStation Store? Yes, yeah, that's been the case since day one. Or you mean something else? You should turn on the 3DS and download the other FF I like. Oh, you mean basically, okay. It's exploited, no? It's fully original. It basically only runs original games. I mean, the thing is that I could consider I mean, flashing it or whatever, but I don't really think I care about any PS Vita game at all. I mean, I will be interested to play the Ridge Racer game on stream, but as I say, that game is the worst in the series, so even if I don't play, I'm not missing much. It can connect to the internet, it has access to whole library. PS3 should also have this. That's good to know. I'm probably not gonna use it though, as I mostly play the games I play on stream on emulators, not just for accessibility, but also because it's easier to stream them. Isn't only like an hour for Ridge Racer Vita? It depends, because if you want to go against the devil cars, I don't remember exactly how it was, but I think you had to play for a little bit to trigger them. And then after that, yeah, that's kinda it. It has a lot of DLCs that I never play though, so that's the one thing that I could do if I emulated. Wait, did I miss the pit stop? Oh shit, my bad. I was supposed to pit stop on the previous one. It doesn't matter. It's not that important. What I can tell you is that it's easily the worst game in the series. So I don't recommend you playing it, or anyone really. Like, if you want to play Ridge Racer Vita, just play Ridge Racer 7 or 6, whichever one you have the best access to. Like, Vita is basically like those two games, but 10 times, if not 100 times worse. So yeah, just play 6 or 7 and you're good to go. I would like to play the 3DS one though. But Kyle told me that like, if I decided to use a real 3DS, capturing the footage will be close to impossible. So I will probably want to emulate that, but I think that last time I checked, Ridge Racer 3DS wasn't perfect in terms of emulation. I will have to check back at some point, but ideally that will be the next game in the series I will play. There essentially aren't many left anyways. It's Ridge Racer 3D and then Ridge Racer Vita, and that's it. All of the main ones I had already played. The only thing left will be mobile trash that I don't give a shit about. And I did play one of them. I think it was called Ridge Racer Slipstream. That was for Android devices. That game, I mean, it wasn't bad for being free to play, but again, play Ridge Racer 6 or 7 and they are better games in every way. Because it's pretty much the same way but worse. Just with the 9 Atelier games on the 3DS and the 2 these guys. I don't know how to pronounce it, by the way. I know the game, but I never tried to actually pronounce it. I have enough reason to get a Vita, and the OLED screen is always nice. The screen on my laptop is so shit, and I used to draw. Imagine the pain. I mean, haven't you considered if you're gonna draw to invest in actual material to draw, you know? I mean, I would assume a drawing tablet is one of those, but would also invest in a nice monitor. I think it will probably help. Most likely. It should. I don't really have any advice to give you for drawing though. Not like I draw anyways. We'll connect it to a desktop PC that don't have space to place the tablet. The keyboard is in the way. What if you put the drawing tablet on top of the keyboard? Surely that's a good idea, right? Surely that's an idea worth considering. I do have a lot of room. If I wanted to, for whatever reason, dedicate myself to drawing, I have a lot of room to place a drawing tablet. But I don't see any reason why I would do that. I think that my artistic talent is below 0. Oh yeah, no thank you. I could get a drawing tablet to play Osu. Like, that's surely a good use of the tablet, right? Surely a very good use of it. No, it most likely isn't. The thing about when you play Osu is that if you play by dragging the drawing pencil across the tablet, you are most likely gonna damage it. But if you hover it, I think it's a lot harder to play like that. Essentially, you have to choose between probably trying harder than with mouse, or to potentially ruin your tablet in a very small amount of time. And I think that both options equally suck, you know? I think that both options are pretty bad. A cheap small one is like 12-20 USD. Well, not over here. Clearly not over here. You gotta remember that when it comes to technological products, my country is one of the worst in the world with the price of the price of imports. One of the worst. Probably not the worst, but definitely one of the worst in the world. I don't think it's gonna be worth that at all. Most likely gonna be overpriced as shit. Rosario debuff. Well, yeah. I think that the day this country stops being corrupt is the day that it's no longer gonna be this country. It's the day that someone finally puts us out of the corruption misery we have and become a colony of someone else. It's the only way. What game are you gonna shit on? What do you have in mind? Because I like shitting on games. I think that it's pretty nice. Well, shitting on games that I don't like, that is, obviously. I don't like shitting on games that I like, clearly. Hey, which game do you have in mind? In 4 laps, dude. Can you believe that? 4 laps? I feel like not even the... Well, no. I think... Actually, I don't remember what was the difference in the oval track, but it was probably relatively close to this. Most likely. Probably. Still a glow. Doesn't have the change up. Change of up is up left or up right. And it's a tactical RPG game, tilted view, 45 degrees. Well, I don't know. I don't play tactical RPGs, so I personally cannot. I could talk shit about that game, but I mean, I would talk shit about all tactical RPGs or anything that requires a strategy. Yeah, Final Fantasy Tactics is supposed to be the golden what's the word? Well, it's supposed to be the gold standard for tactical RPGs, so yeah. That game, I heard that people that like those type of games have it very high up there as a very good game. Have you played Deus Ex? No. No, someone gifted it to me on Steam a very long time ago, and I never played it. I never played it because it's not my type of game, but I think that eventually I will play it simply because it got gifted to me. Just that it's been so long that I think that I'm already at fault for not having played it in all this time. But yeah, games like those are not my type of game. I mean, I usually in general don't like games that are very adult, right? Call me a man-child if you want, you probably will be right, but games that have like blood and death and, you know, moral decisions and shit like that, I don't like that. That sort of stuff. I think that reality is already depressing enough to play games like that. I do know that that game is more science fiction than anything trying to be realistic, but I still don't really like it. Not to mention that gameplay-wise, I'm not a fan of shooters in general. Or well, first-person shooters to be precise. They cram every conspiracy theory in one game and their world is still better than ours. I mean, it's better because it has powers. Any world with superpowers is nice. Because the idea of having superpowers is pretty cool. You know? Even shit like Cyberpunk 2077. That game is supposed to be a dystopia, that's the point, but I mean, you have superpowers, dude. You can tell me it's a dystopia all you want, but if I can essentially be a walking god, I think that it's pretty fun, regardless of how dystopic everything else is, you know? But yeah, that is the way I see it. Well, in any case, one thing is for sure, and that's that this is the final lap. We have 4 7s in the lap count. I feel like when it was 3 7s, it was more lucky though. I feel like 4 7s kinda loses the charm. If you want the lucky 7s, it has to be 3. Or maybe 5. There are some slot machines with 5 columns, but 4, I don't think that 4 of them is particularly common. But yeah. Also, these guys are really gonna... Oh, it's because they are pit stopping. This is lap like 73 for them, that's why they are pit stopping. That's pretty funny. Well, eat shit. Alright. Yeah. As I already say, let me repeat. The idea here is I'm gonna remove all of their driving aids with the exception of traction control. Unless it's Hong Kong, Laguna Seca, or Opera Paris. If it's any of those, I won't. But if it's anything else, I'll remove them. Because this is being way too free. It's Grand Valley, yeah, fuck that. We are removing them. Okay, so driving aids is in here. So ASM, both are off. This one I'm leaving it at 1 though. Traction control is very important. Now, obviously this is, in terms of the safety of winning, this is a mistake. Clearly, I'm nerfing myself. And maybe it's too much of a mistake. In the sense that I might get absolutely fucked by this. Like I might even lose. I don't care. And I don't care because you saw that the previous race was an absolute destruction. And well, the other 3 before that were also destruction. So I essentially have no reason to obliterate my opponents that badly, because it's not interesting to me. As I say, it's also not interesting to lose, but that's the like. If I really went YOLO, I will remove the traction control as well. Like, I'm just going like this and seeing how it goes. Traction control only in one. Basically, what you will see that is gonna be slower is the corner exit. The corner exit will absolutely be slower, without a doubt. Everything else is probably mostly gonna be the same. You can see that here I probably would have taken that at full speed. If you could make any kind of game without limit, what kind of game would it be? I mean, most likely a game similar to Wings of V, just probably with more story and characters, I guess, but my ideal game is essentially a platforming game with bosses, with hard platforming and, well, maybe even hard bosses. That's the ideal thing to me. Oh shit. You can see that on the break I lost control. Oh, Dark Souls with Miku now. I like the Dark Souls games, but I prefer platforming games. I mean, to me, Mega Man is still almost at the top of the hierarchy on anything gaming related, so... Dark Souls is of course pretty nice, but I don't think that's something I will be interested in making, because it's not something that is lacking right now. Like, there are... you lift a stone and you see a Dark Souls clone very easily. Ah, fuck. See, that's the sort of thing that you will start seeing a lot. Losing control like that. Like oversteering. Wings of V, but more bosses and more crashes. But hopefully not. It could be. As I said before, this could very easily be a defeat. Like, I could very easily not win this race. And I don't care. But yeah. You can already see that I am not in full control of my car. Like I was in the... like with full driving aids. Well, I say full driving aids, but it's not even full driving aids the way it's configured by default. Like, you could make it easier if you really wanted to. You could make it a lot easier. Here it's the corner exit, the one that is very hard to do. The main problem with this is that even though the other cars are very close to me, so you can see that there is a semblance of competition, the problem is that these guys are not gonna pit in when I do. They will pit in a lot later. So not having an advantage, a big advantage in a situation like this, is definitely very bad. Like, it's extremely bad even. So we will see how long I can go without pitting, but yeah. I need a good advantage, like at least 20 seconds. I think that 20 seconds is the minimum that I need. You can see that in corners like this that have a very long distance for braking, you want to do them very slowly. You want to start braking earlier, because if you brake right at the end, you're gonna get fucked. You're gonna get very fucked. There is also the other problem with this idea, and that is obviously that the races are gonna be slower. Like, the races are gonna take longer to be completed. Which means obviously that the championship is gonna be even longer than it already is. But I mean, it's kinda picking between that or doing races where you already know you're gonna win, and that the only thing that you have to worry about is the fact that, you know, the fact that you need to reach the end, and that's it. Just need to reach the end. It's certainly not easy at all to handle this. I remember how I told you that in the previous race I was basically going on autopilot. I can guarantee you that I'm not going in autopilot right now. I'm actually focusing a lot in every single corner. Oh, also, I didn't see where the pit entrance of this thing is. I'm assuming that it's in the main straight, but it could be sooner as well. I don't know. You have to be careful. I'm gonna pay attention here. I can probably pit in lap 8. No, probably 7. The checking here will be kinda necessary. At least pitting on lap 7 means that I only, well, quote unquote, only need to do 8 pit stops. Which is not bad, but it's definitely not amazing. Yeah, manual breathing mode. Well, manual. Actually, you know that if you wanted to challenge yourself here, another thing that you could do is try manual transmission. Though if I try manual transmission, I will guarantee you that I will certainly not disable the driving aids. But then that's you gave me a very good idea, Kyle. Good shit. I feel like the next challenge will be having the driving aids back to normal, but essentially, you know, trying to play in manual transmission. I feel like that can be super cool too. I mean, I'm probably gonna struggle a lot, don't get me wrong, but I think that the struggle is part of the joy, right? Surely. Though, hold up. I didn't check where the pit entrance was, and I most likely actually have to pit in this lap, which is very bad. Pitting in this lap already, like lap 6 essentially means that I need to pit 10 times. That's a lot. Like, that's a lot of pit stops. But if I go one more lap like this, I'm definitely getting fucked. Because that tire on the rear right is not doing well right now. Then it is a very early pit stop without a doubt. The pit entrance is actually here. So yeah, I'm gonna get overtaken, obviously. The question is how much I'm gonna lose, and obviously when are they gonna pit stop. At least the pit stop is a lot faster than the previous one, so the time that you lose is not that much, but it's still scary to think about it, right? Especially since I will have more pit stops than them. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, I basically launched last place. I will assume that maybe without driving aids, the tire consumption is probably even worse, isn't it? Because you're probably gonna be drift more with the lack of the lack of protection against understeer. Well, against oversteering mostly. Understeering is not the issue. The problem is oversteering, obviously. I do like the next challenge being manual transmission, though it really depends on the track. I think depending on the track, using manual transmission is a horrible idea. On the auto braking also shit the wheels. I mean, the thing that shits on the wheels the most... no, see, here's the thing. First of all, it's the tires, the thing that gets shit on, not the wheels. Well, you probably meant tires, but the thing is that what hurts the tires the most is drifting. The thing about the auto braking is that it basically makes a smooth transition to precisely make sure that you don't drift. Because that's the issue. The moment you drift is when your tires start to get worn out more quickly, you know? That's the problem. So, if anything, the auto braking is easier on the tires than having no assist at all. Of course, you can have no assist at all and drive super smooth without wearing down the tires, like without drifting at all, but not if you are me. If you are me, that's not gonna happen. Yeah, it's fine. So for now, I will be able to get back into first place. The issue is the way we are gonna overtake, and well, mostly the way that the pit stops are gonna be. Because these guys, keep in mind that they still have not pit stop. Well, if anything, the fact that I'm first place, that's a good thing for me. But... okay, they will pit stop here apparently. So they pit stop in lap 8. Lap 8 means that they will pit stop a total of 7 times, like I say, right? Yeah, but that's a huge difference. 7 versus 10 is a very big difference. I still should be able to come out on top, but that's... I mean, saying it like that sounds very scary. Without a doubt. Very, very scary. Okay. But I'm going with so much care in every single corner. It's like when you try to, I don't know, feed a baby or something, and you try to make sure he doesn't choke on the food. You make sure that he doesn't, you know, make his face dirty. You make sure that everything is very slowly, but you know, but that he ends up eating the food. That's how I feel every time I enter a corner. Like, I gotta make sure the car doesn't go straight to the grass, doesn't spin. Like, it's really something. He chokes and explodes. Yeah, I know. That's how it feels to drive this car right now. But I'm pretty sure that you can tell by the difference that it's not a problem at all. Like, even if I will do more pit stops, if anything, what's gonna happen here is that instead of having a very fucked up defeat, these guys are gonna have a less brutal defeat. But that won't make it any less fucked up for them, you know. It will still be very fucked up. But yeah, that's the main issue. Like, these guys really don't stand a chance, and I think that that's the dilemma. If they are not gonna stand a chance even with me nerfing myself like this, I think I might as well not nerf myself at all. Because if it was something that was close, but it won't. Like, even with these nerfs, I still obliterate these guys with no issues. I guess the other step will be trying to disable the aids completely, as I mentioned before, like also removing the traction control. But the issue with that, you can see on the bottom left that the traction control is enabling itself a lot on the acceleration in the corner exit. If I don't have, like, if the traction control is disabled completely, it will make every corner exit an absolute torture to do. Set the controls inverted. I don't think that will be pretty fun to do, honestly. But as it is right now, it's still an absolute destruction, just less. But according to my calculations, by the end of this race, I'm not sure if I can predict lapping them by 1 lap or by 2 laps. 1 lap, I'm sure. Like, that's a given. Like, it's guaranteed these guys are gonna be lapped a whole lap. But the question is if they are gonna be lapped twice. That's the question. Either way, it's a distraction nonetheless, so I think at this point, I don't think this is very worth doing, you know. In fact, I will probably think that doing this with the driving aids enabled, like, by default, wouldn't make too much of a difference either. It will probably be the exact same shit as this. So, looking at the possible duration of this race, I can tell you that there's most likely not gonna be another one today. This is most likely gonna be the last one. Got reminded of Chaos Mode for GTA, which speedrunner used random effects every minute. One was popping all tires, will be nice on this car. I don't think I will want my tires being pop, you know. No, you know what will be nice? What will be nice is an AI that doesn't suck. That will be nice. That will be real nice. That doesn't seem to be the case. Like, at all, you know. An AI that actually tries to go fast, I think that will do wonders for this game. It will be pretty nice. But yes, it is right now. these guys don't stand a chance either way. So I think at least the good thing is that now I have two other options. One of them is disabling the aids completely, and the other one is trying manual mode. A manual mode with a manual transmission with the aids enabled, of course. Wouldn't want to do that with the aids disabled. Hey, that will be interesting too. So can you even change the transmission in the settings? I will assume you can. Oh, but the problem is that I don't really have it well configured. Say, for example, I have L1 be the look back button, but if I use manual transmission, I will use L1 to downshift and R1 to upshift. I will have to change that. I think that right now I have them configured to L2 and R2, but that's not acceptable when those buttons are triggers. So yeah, no, not a good idea. Oops. The other option is buying a formula and racing a real track yourself. Yeah, just buy a formula car. Surely that's possible. Surely you can just go into a car concessionary and buy a formula car. I'm sure that's the way it works. Indeed. Surely. I mean, it will be nice, don't get me wrong, but yeah, it's not that easy. If it was that easy, I can probably tell you I would have already done it. But no, it ain't. Yeah, that's something that it's always curious, right? How will you fare in a Formula car? Because Formula being such an exclusive thing also doesn't really have much of an option to people outside of the sport to drive, so they cannot even try how good they will be. It would be funny if a random person was simply faster than the current drivers. That's most likely not the case. But you never know. At least if you give them the same level of practice that the drivers currently have, will they be able to surpass them? Who knows? Nice oversteer. Always feels weird to see a Formula car oversteering. Seeing a car like this drifting means that the car is not doing what it has to do. In this case, it's a driver issue. Not supposed to drive it like that. Now this guy should pit in on this lap, right? They pit every 8 laps, while I do it every 6. Should pit in 2 laps instead. I'll tell you that what you can already expect is for this to be the last race of the stream, because this will take an hour and a half without a doubt. And I think that that's probably an optimistic calculation. I think it probably will take longer than that, so yeah. If that is the case, well, regardless of what's the case, it will be the last one. So unfortunately, I thought that maybe I will be able to like play 3 races per stream, but that's impossible because that essentially requires like 4 hours and a half streams if you're gonna do that, and that's not something I do. Not unless it's a special occasion, and this one certainly isn't. But yeah, not any reason to do that. Now, if you want to, you know what I said about manual transmission, it doesn't seem like in this car is that big of a deal as you would expect. You basically look at the the speedometer here, I guess, and you have to up gear before it reaches the red line. The real issue is the down gear. Like, going up a gear is not a problem most of the times. The problem is going down a gear. Like, when are you gonna do that? It's the real problem, you know? At least the suggested gear tells you to what gear you're probably intended to go. It doesn't tell you exactly. Wow. It was pretty nice. Ah, shit. I ruined that guy's race. Well, by judging at your current position, I don't think that you needed much for your race to be ruined, you know. I think that's just looking at that you were ruined a long time ago, mister. It's fine. Come on, you're making this harder for both of us, you sack of shit. I obviously need to pit in on this lap, clearly. Already wasting enough time just trying to get around that asshole. So yeah. Ironically, keep in mind that the race is still not won yet. I most likely will win it, but it's something that still requires good driving from me. And that thing on the previous lap definitely was not good driving. It was kind of like the opposite of good driving. Hey, don't worry about it. We got this. You know what I wonder? Because I wasn't originally planning to continue this championship tomorrow, but with the ideas of either completely removing the assist or to use manual transmission, it kind of makes me want to, you know, it makes me want to see that for myself. I think that in either cases the result can potentially be very exciting, especially the manual transmission one, because it's not like I'm completely foreign to using manual transmission in racing games, but it's something that I don't normally do. Wow, nice loss of control there. Notice that every time that you lose control like that, you make your tires be even worse. So that's bad. That is quite bad. Like a situation like the previous one where in the final lap of the stint I was like already very out of tires is very possible when you have accidents like this one. And they happen simply for like stepping on the grass even a little bit. But considering that you have no racing aids, it's hard to do much, you know. It's not like I lost an insane amount of time, really. It's not that bad. If I keep entering this corner like this, I will keep having the same accident, you know, occur every single time. But, you know, thinking of what to do tomorrow, I think my problem is that I essentially have two options. The first one is to keep with this championship, that can be a little bit of a pain in the ass to play long races like this back to back. But then the other option will be to continue Majora's Mask, and it seems like the part that I'm currently in is an absolute pain in the ass, so I also don't know how good of an idea that would be. It's basically choosing the lesser pain, you know. You are not giving that much of a choice, I would say. Well, I mean, I could play anything else as well, but I think I have to play one of those two. That's what I kinda want. Oh, nice oversteering again. I mean, hairpins like that are very easy to oversteer like it's nothing. Very, very common. Damn, it seems that right now I'm oversteering absolutely everything. God damn. Everything that can be oversteered is being oversteered. Actually, I don't know what's the difference. Maybe I'm just being a lot more aggressive in the corners, but it really feels like I'm oversteering a lot more right now. Really wonder what my lap time here would be if I was using driving aids. Will it be much faster? Will it be mostly the same? I don't know how it will be. It most likely will be faster, yes. I don't doubt it for a second that it will. I don't know. It's like voting for president. Well, yeah, anything that involves voting in politics is essentially picking the lesser of two evils. I basically don't vote, so not a problem to me. I already know that whatever I pick is a bad choice, so might as well not pick. What's the point? Just do whatever you want. Since you're gonna do that anyways, you know? Yeah. I personally don't even think about it. But here when it comes to stream, I need to think about it. Because I personally think that not streaming, at least for the time being, is not an acceptable option at all, you know? I don't think it is. Because of that, ideally I need to pick between one of those. I'm struggling so much in the final lap of the stint every single time. I do what I can, but I really get turbo fucked a lot. Alright. At least they are gonna pit stop on this lap too. That's something, you know? I will say that the pit stop is very unrealistic. That's the one thing about these Formula cars that is probably the most unrealistic thing so far, that the pit stop will be that slow. Well, unless you are current day Ferrari. For what I heard, Ferrari basically sucks in pits. So yeah, maybe they were trying to emulate that, like a very bad racing team. I think that unless the next track is Seoul, I think that my idea will be to try manual transmission with the default driving aids. think that that will be the next thing to do. The other alternative, which will be removing the traction control as well, would probably like to do that in, well, as I was saying. Well, actually, did I say the opposite? It's like I'm not paying too much attention to what I'm saying precisely because I'm trying to pay attention to the corner. The point is that Seoul, I will be willing of like disabling traction control and try like that. But if it's anything else, I want to do the manual transmission thingy to see how it goes, you know. You know what I said at the beginning about the amount of times these guys will be lapped? I don't think it's gonna be 2 laps. Most likely gonna be, well, 1 lap for sure, as I say, but 2 laps at this rate, considering that we are, well, not quite there, but relatively close to the halfway point of the race. I think that like having them 2 laps behind me is not gonna be very possible at all. That was a nice overtake at least. I really will be very curious to see how fast I could do this race with all driving aids. Well, you can do like 2 laps solo and see what lap time you get and basically try to make the difference there, comparing it to the best lap time that you got here, which in this case is 1 minute 28. I don't know if that's close or not to what it would have been otherwise. That's a PB, though that's a PB I think because of the slipstream of both this guy and the guy that I overtook earlier. I don't think it's that I was driving better. I think that the slipstream there helped a lot. But yeah. But it's essentially, as of right now, 1 minute 28 seems to be the average mostly. On the other hand, if they get in your way, they're gonna make the lap slower, of course. I think that the slipstream at the very start of the lap will make quite a difference here. Yeah, correct. Almost a second faster. I think that that will be the PB for the rest of the race. I don't think it's gonna get better than that, well, especially if I exit the first corner like that, you know? certainly not gonna get much better. I'm also noticing that in this race, the opponents are very spread wide in terms of the gap between them. Like they are essentially in their own race instead of being all together like it is usually the case, or in small groups. But I think that up until now you never saw them all separated like this, you know? That's a little bit weird. Hey, who cares? I had to brake a lot there. The issue here is that I'm already entering the final lap of the stint with the tires being in a relatively bad shape. So I think that certainly doesn't help. I'm about to lap the first place. Not for long though, because I need to pit in this lap, but I'm about to lap him regardless, even if it's for a little. So considering the state of my tires, I don't think I can overtake him like this. I don't think it will happen, but we will see. You never know. But with his slipstream like this, I might be able to. At the same time, there aren't that many corners remaining, and the state of my tires is not good. So even if it's only for a little bit. Oh, actually, okay. I was able to lap him. He's gonna quickly overtake me now that I enter the pits, of course. Without a doubt. At least I was able to lap him before the halfway point of the race, which is essentially on the next lap. The next lap is the halfway point. So it is essentially more or less gonna be 1 hour and 40 minutes of total race time, which is essentially 80 minutes, no, 70 minutes, right? No, wait, what am I saying? I'm stupid. 100 minutes. Sorry. As I say, I'm focusing a lot on driving, you know, so I cannot do basic arithmetical operations like that. You know, it will be 100 minutes in total, which is almost what the New York track took, so I guess it's not that different, but this time we didn't have an oval track to compensate for the long duration of the other one, so well, the next one might be short, but I don't want to find out. I don't think I want to find out today. Sorry about that, mister. You were getting a little bit too much in my way. they are gonna pit in here. This will be their 4th pit stop. I think that it's still very, very crazy that with 3 pit stops of difference, I can still win so comfortably. That doesn't seem right, but it seems to be the way it's gonna be, you know? Like, I'm gonna pit stop 3 times more than them. Oh wait, I forgot. It's not gonna be on this track because they are still on. They were still on lap 31. Well, actually, no, were they? Yeah, they were. Like, lap 32 is essentially this one that they are doing right now, while I'm doing lap 33. But yeah, for them it's still not the time to pit stop, but almost. You can do that. Was able to stop the car. I mean, after all, it's a Formula car. A shame that that guy pushed me out of the track. That was pretty mean. He actually didn't give me space to pass. He just pushed me out. I wish I remember which one you were, because I'm gonna fuck you up next time I see you. That's the issue, I don't remember your color. I know that you are the one that is in 5th place, but these guys are basically changing their places constantly, so I don't know if that's a good thing to pay attention to. Probably not. Well, unfortunately, seems like it's gonna be pretty hard to fuck him up at all, because with this pit stop, well, considering that I'm gonna pit stop in 2 laps, I might actually see them soon. So maybe I will see him, and when I do, I'll guarantee you I'm gonna fuck you up. I have a lot of time to waste. No problem. I could have another one of those big accidents and it will not be a problem. But yeah, you gotta pay. You just gotta pay. Well, for now, well, in fact, unless one of these guys gets into an accident, their positions are not gonna change either, so essentially my target is the guy in 5th place. Now that I will pit stop, I most likely will get out of pits behind him, so I'll have time to get my revenge. It's always nice. It's a pretty fast lap, all things considered. I guess it's because I had the slipstream of one of the guys briefly. Very easy to step on the sides of the tunnel here. That means that you will lose control super quickly. Now, I think that here my tire were already at the start of the lap that is gonna come now is very bad. I think the best thing I could do is to pit stop here, but I don't wanna change the pace. But it might be for the best, I don't know. But hopefully this lap is not that bad. You here start seeing the drifting even when you supposedly do the corners normally, you know? Okay. Technically, this pit stop is the... Which one is it? The sixth one. At least we're closer to the end than we were before, but still some way to go. Like, there is still quite some way to go, and we are gonna reach an hour of race. That's fucked up. Also, the pit exit here will be essentially right next to the first place, which means that essentially we are not gonna see the 5th place again. I mean, that's a shame. I really wanted to take revenge, but I guess that now we cannot. I mean, at least we can have the consolation that they will be lapped, possibly even twice, while I am the winner of the race. But I would have liked to fuck him up. That's a shame. I guess I'm suffering from success. After all. Well, considering I guess I don't really need to focus on the race anymore, having like such a guaranteed victory as this one. How was everyone's day? In my case, nothing really out of the ordinary. The typical Monday, you know, slow Monday. Not much to do. But yeah, it's better than having those, you know, manic Mondays where everyone wants everything done, you know, as soon as possible, and you end up getting stressed. So I prefer slow Mondays, but ideally I would prefer slow every day. That will be the best. I like taking it slowly, personally. taking it easy. Thing that I could do for the next stream of this is probably decrease the volume of the sound effects, so you can at least hear the music a little bit more, you know? Ah, shit. It will be cool. I think that it will definitely be better than hearing this engine. Because hearing this engine a little bit, I think that it's okay. But you know, hearing it constantly, even if you're hearing it at a low volume, I mean, I am hearing it at a low volume right now, but the fact that it's constant might be a little bit too much. It's fine. You know, I think that now that I think about it better, I probably wouldn't want to continue the championship tomorrow. Like, I think as much of a pain in the ass as where I currently am in Majora's Mask is, I think I'd rather do that. This is the kind of thing that you should want to do it. Like once in a while. I said once a week last time, but technically last time I did this was like 5 days ago. So not a full week. You probably want to have like a full week in between, you know? Probably for the best. So now that I think about it, if I use manual transmission next time, the biggest struggle with manual transmission is downshifting fast enough when you brake. Because the brakes on this thing are insanely good. Which means that you're gonna very quickly go to like low level of speed. And when that happens, I'm afraid that the car, if you don't downshift quickly enough, is gonna lose control super quickly. I don't know which one is gonna be harder. If it's gonna be like removing all of the driving aids or using the driving aids with manual transmission. I feel like manual transmission is probably gonna be harder. I just have the hunch that it might be harder. They're not fully sure of how it's gonna be. So now that I'm realizing I'm essentially pit stopping in what looks like the same lap as them, but in reality right there, that was lap 40 for them. So it looks like it's the same lap, but it's because they are so far behind that it just looks that way. Maybe lapping them twice is still in the menu after all. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to go to pits. That would have been very bad. Doing a whole lap with tires in that condition wouldn't be very nice. Not at all. I guess after all, I might reach the 5th place and get my revenge at this raid. Certainly very possible. I also think that another thing that is possible is that since I'm getting more used to the track, I'm simply doing it faster. I feel like that's what's happening. Like I'm just going faster because the track is much more familiar than when I started, you know? Oh wow, what the hell? That was a weird drift. I didn't even step on the grass there. What happened? Guess I was too hard on the steering, but felt like that didn't make any sense. It's what happens when you don't have some driving aids. If you take a corner too fast, you lose control even when you think that you really shouldn't. That was one of those cases. I wonder how many accidents like that I had in this race. Probably 5 at least. So I think all things considered is not as many as they could have been. But it's still quite a big number. Say a very big number. See, that one, if I had lost control, at least I could be like, well, because I'm stepping on the piano and or the grass. But the other one, I'm pretty sure I was fully in the asphalt, so not really sure why it happened. But it did happen. So, yeah. It was a very bad sequence of corners. I think that in all these previous laps I've been losing an insane amount of time. I mean, not enough to be a problem, obviously, but I think enough to be annoying. Doing that chicane is not easy. Like, a lot of times I take it with a lot of speed, but it's really not that easy. I also should, instead of using the brakes to take a lot of the fast corners, I should instead try to lift the accelerator quickly, like I do on the final corner of the track. And I could do it here in this chicane as well. Like, it's pretty clearly the best option. Obviously not in hairpins like this, that you still need to stop the car there, you know, no matter what. That was close. It is also a track that, despite having some fast corners, I will say that the majority are slow corners. So that whole thing with the accelerator is not something that you can do very often. I also been thinking that if we're talking about using manual transmission, another added difficulty is the fact that you have 7 gears instead of 6. I think that worrying about 6 is already hard enough, but worrying about 7 gonna be even more annoying. already losing control quickly. Well, at some point I can kinda start pitting every 5 laps instead of 6. But if I were to do that, I don't know if I can start after this one. Because the next pit stop here, if it was every 6, will be in 54. And if it was every 5, it will be in 53. Actually, it will be the same, right? Because if it was every 6, it will be 54, 60, and that's it. But if it's every 5, it will be 53, 58, and that's it as well. I could actually start doing it every 5 from now on, and it will be better because the final lap of the stint wouldn't be so painful to do, right? I think I'm gonna do that. So next pit stops are in 53 and 58. I think it's a good idea. So it's perfect to start doing it now and not before. So if I started doing it before, it wouldn't really have worked. I will have to do one more pit stop. But yeah, doing it like this is perfect. The perfect strat even. But it's quite crazy that the tires get worn out so quickly that I need to pit stop every 5 laps. Like, I know that this is a relatively long track, but man, at this rate, in something like Nürburgring, I will have to pit stop every race. Like, if this championship ends up having Nürburgring, every race will have to be a pit stop. Without every lap, I mean, will have to be a pit stop, without a doubt. And Le Mans, I can probably fit 2 laps, but it will still be pretty ridiculous, all things considered. I still don't think that even with that I will be able to lose, but something worth considering. I think these guys are gonna pit stop now. They are supposed to pit stop in lap 48, and I think that this is lap 48 for them. That pit stop basically means that I should be able to reach the 5th place here. Yeah, most likely. I'll definitely reach the last place, but the 5th place should be very close. No, actually, unless I manage to overtake him here. Oh, there you are. Oops, I didn't. Well, I ended up fucking myself harder than him. See, that's what they call instant karma. Doesn't matter, I'm still behind you, so next time I'm gonna fuck you up. I still haven't forgotten, so I'm gonna fuck you up one way or another. I'm not gonna be satisfied until then. Is that it's so hard to do it. Right. It's not easy at all, and especially in a place like this. It's not. Oh, here in this corner, probably. There you go. No, Tim, it's with these cars, it's actually very hard to try to fuck someone else up. It will have to be on a hairpin. Because otherwise, essentially, you're just pushing them from behind, which does absolutely nothing. Yeah, not much you can do. There, I think he almost spins out. It's actually hard. Like, if you want to legitimately bother them, you will have to put a lot of effort into it. God damn. But whatever. Fuck them, anyways. I might want to fuck him up, but I'm not gonna waste my time if it's gonna be that hard. I just assumed it was gonna be easier. No, it clearly isn't. It would be pretty funny if that actually wasn't the car that fucked me over and it was like this one, for example. And I'm pretty sure it was that one. So even without wanting, it's pretty easy to either annoy another driver or get annoyed by them. It's very, very hard to do a legit overtake. I think the biggest issue is that in the first corner, when he exits the pits, ideally, since it's a very slow corner, you could probably easily throw him out of the track if you go from the inside, but since he exited from pits, he had the inside. So that wasn't possible at all. But since I need to pit in here, I'm probably gonna get another opportunity, but I kinda doubt it. Because pitting in here essentially means going back quite a lot. So I don't think it will be that easy. And they are gonna pit in later, though I think that they are pretty far from the pit, considering that the next pit in will be in lap 56, and they are still in lap 51 right now, so I might be able to reach the 5th place again. I really wanna teach him a lesson. I feel like I could potentially lap everyone by 2 laps, but I think what's more exciting than that is fucking that guy up. Yeah, I'm gonna pit in this lap, as I say. The idea is doing 53, 58, and then that's it. But I think that it might not be lapping them twice at this rate, especially with the amount of time that I lost trying to fuck the 5th place up. It's not gonna be that fast. At least I have another chance to fuck him up. With a car like this, you are instead most likely gonna lose more time yourself than making him lose time. I think ultimately it's probably not worth it. It would have been nice to lap them twice. But I think that I don't really need to lap them twice to essentially know that even with a with a heavy nerf like removing most of the driving aids, I still can win with such a difference, you know. I don't need that I explicitly needed to be 2 laps for that to be noticeable. Like with 1 lap, like more than a lap and a half, I think that it kinda gets the point across, you know. That's the reason why I think that manual transmission should at least be a little bit more interesting. So something that I can tell you is that in a single race, the whole playlist repeats at least twice. Because I know that it's hard to listen, but the song that is playing right now is Free Will Burning, which is something that already played earlier for this same race, which means that I don't know if decreasing the sound of the car will be much better than hearing repeating songs in the same race. I mean, it probably is. Ideally, the best thing that I could do is basically just mute the in-game music and put my own, but I don't usually like doing that. Well, Mr. 5th place is right there. Are you gonna pay for your sins? You know, the worst part is that I didn't even make him waste time to lose his position. That's the worst part about all this. If I at least did that... Fuck you. There you go. I got my revenge. That's all I care about. Alright, and he lost his position as well. Eat shit. Piece of trash. Now I'm satisfied. Now I'm actually satisfied. Throwing me out of the track was a big mistake. Well, he could recover his position, but at least I got his ass. It's what you deserve. You have thought twice before taking me out of the track, bitch. Okay. Well, obviously, if this was real life, something like that would have been a fatal crash for both of us. Like, there is no way either of us will survive something like that. Though, assuming I survive something like that, I will go to prison for essentially attempted murder. Well, attempted. Assuming the other guy didn't die, which he most likely did, in which case I will simply get jailed for murder. I mean, the only excusable thing there in real life will be if your brakes fail, which is something that could happen. But if that happens, usually you want to avoid the guy that is in front of you. Like, you want to go to the emptiest place possible. So even if that was the situation, it would be very controversial. Hey, thankfully this is not real life, so I can fuck someone up like that, like they deserve, without any consequences. Okay, just keep in mind that that was a retaliation. He started it. I'm simply paying him back. Paying him back with the same coin. Well, not really the same coin. What he did is pushing me out of the track. What I did instead is basically shooting a missile straight at him, you know. I will say that it's good enough. As I say, it would be pretty funny if that wasn't the car that did that and instead was this guy. And this guy, I have a feeling he's not a troublemaker, right? Surely. Alright, I will pit in this lap. They will most likely pit in this lap as well, so if that's the case, it's possible that I actually can lap them by 2 laps. Yeah, it should be possible. Because at that point it basically becomes a matter of reaching the first place. And I don't think that will be an issue whatsoever. The first place is not that far away. They will pit in right now. We will actually go through the pit stop together. Yeah, he's right there. Well, no, that was the second place. The first place is the silver one. Well, here what I could have done actually is to not replenish fuel, since with the amount of laps that are remaining, I don't need it. But yeah, the second place is right in front of me, well, since I basically enter pits behind him. Oh, that makes sense. I definitely will lap this guy again. Well, in that case, this race is the perfect proof that this type of nerfing is not worth it. It's either remove the racing aids completely or using manual transmission. Or both, but I think that actually will be too much. Having racing aids off and manual transmission sounds like a nightmare. Seems like a very big nightmare. Yeah, 2 laps. In fact, wasn't the New York race 2 laps as well? That was a far easier track than this one. And I had full racing aids there. Wasn't it also 2 laps? Because in that case, assuming I'm not wrong and I'm, you know, forgetting the actual lap count, this is the equivalent, which will mean that if I did this with driving aids, it probably wouldn't have gone differently at all. It would have been the same. But I don't know. I mean, maybe as Kyle says, the speed disabling the automatic well, the mechanism that avoids your wheels from getting logged. I think that if that is enabled, maybe you do some corners slower. Probably not. Finish recording replay. That's funny. Okay, we essentially are getting to the point where this shit is too long even for the game. I'm not surprised. It's as you would expect. I don't really have any hope of the following races getting any shorter than this one, though. I feel like if anything, the length is gonna keep getting longer and longer. Which is a pain in the ass, really. Like, ideally, if you're gonna have 15 races in total for the championship and you want to do them long, I think the maximum duration should always be an hour. Like, I think that this shit getting to an hour and 40 minutes is a little bit too much. Well, and it's more or less what I predict. I said an hour and 40, and this is that, pretty much. It's a little bit less, though. But yeah, essentially, all things considered, this is an extremely similar situation to the... Wow, nice drift. An extremely similar situation to the New York track. The New York track was also like almost 100 minutes. So that's a pretty silly lap to end the race with, with an accident like that. That was the classic example of oversteering. Like, I didn't really do anything wrong, like stepping on the wrong place, but I simply accelerated too much, while at the same time I was steering too much. And I ended up losing control very quickly. But it doesn't matter. 2 laps is quite something. Quite a lot, if you ask me. I could have probably done that full corner at, like that last corner at full speed all this time, but who cares? Okay, the asshole, the yellow car, actually managed to make him finish last as he deserves. Fuck him. I don't care about the point ranking. You have to press start. So, you know, the replay apparently doesn't get saved, but they still show you at least the beginning of the replay. I mean, if you were masochistic enough to watch the whole replay, what most likely happens is that at the lap that it said that we don't record more replay, that's where it will suddenly cut. I don't know why you will watch a full replay of an hour and 40 minutes race, honestly. Alright. So let's save, and I'm gonna just leave this for today. My plan, as I mentioned, is to essentially... Next time that I play this, that won't be tomorrow, will be some other day. I want to try either manual transmission or no driving aids at all. One of those two things to at least try to, I don't know, make the race more interesting, because you can see that by now my victory is guaranteed even after nerfing myself a little bit. So yeah, gotta check more ways to try to make it interesting. So thanks everyone a lot for watching, and I'll be seeing you on the next stream. So have a good one, and take care.